Hello, and welcome to Through the Fryer. I am so excited to be back. I know it has been a while, and as I continue to tell you on these podcasts that I'm going to come and do these more than once a month, I always find myself at least a month out, and here we are again. We're just circling, we're just sharks. Here's the bait. Bam, I'm back. I'm so excited to be back, and I actually think taking so much time is really good because I have so much to share, and it's crazy. Obviously, I have a lot of stories already of me being in New York City that I want to share. I got my little notepad on the side of the podcast, so I can just stay on track, and I have all my little tags of what I'm gonna hit. And then it's going to be a tangent of a tangent of a tangent. All right. So right now in New York is Sunday, and it is officially August 12th, and it's 8 o'clock in the morning. And before I start, I would like to just give like a few shout outs to some of my friends that I know that watch the show. First shout out goes to my friend Elle from Salt Lake and RDT. I know she's an avid listener. Also a shout out to Elise. That's my girl, my two dancing girls. And Marty Bueller, who's my partner, who's here, of course. Well, some that they listen a lot. Oh, and my friend Jen Dayton too. Oh, I probably shouldn't say that last name. It's a lot of Jens out there, so she'll be fine. So yeah, I'm gonna give a shout out to those, and please continue to share this podcast. This is just honestly a thing of passion for me to be doing, but the more the merrier. I feel like I'm picking up some traction, so please continue to share. I really just want to go ahead and just dive right into like just adjusting to New York. And when I say adjusting, I'm not talking about the time difference, which is 2 hours. I'm not talking about the smaller spaces and the higher rent. I'm not talking about the random people walking around with their dogs without leashes. I'm not talking about the soliciting outside of my apartment. No, I'm actually just talking about the heat.
It is 91,000 damn degrees.
Yes, it's very hot. I mean, it is scalding. And then when you go down to the train and you change levels like that, and everything inside of you just comes out like a waterfall right on your face, as in sweat, it is disgusting. That's one thing I did not miss about living on the East Coast is the humidity. And it is so rank. It is just ridiculous. It's getting better, but the sublet that we have, we're on the 6th floor, and heat rises, so we are constantly baking. And we have an air conditioner in one room. We have plenty of fans, but we cannot do anything when Mother Nature is on her wrath, and she's been on it for about this entire month and a half we have lived here. But we're grateful that we have a place, but it has been the hardest thing for me is the heat. I think the more I just don't think about it, it'll just be a thing, but nobody wants to walk around carrying 2 shirts, an extra pair of underwear just in case. A little sweat rag, you got to stuff in your bag, deodorant galore. I'm like, damn, how many times I got to change? But you know what? It's worth it. New York is beautiful. It's the place that never sleeps. So if I got to just deal with the heat, I'll deal with the heat. I'll deal with the fire. It's okay. So yeah, adjusting to the heat has been crazy. Another thing adjusting to is just this new job that I have. It's a Broadway marquee job. So if you ever went to a Broadway show, those people that like literally are inside the theaters that sell the show's merchandise. I got one of those jobs. And oddly enough, me and my thirst to have my own coin in my pocket got me on Playbill.com, and I sent out resumes like crazy. Like, I just need an easy job, something simple so I could just bring in a little bit of change, buy a little carton of eggs, get a little bit of milk. And I went and did the interview, and then when I saw the manager message me back, I saw a 216 area code. I'm like, oh, he's from Cleveland, because I'm originally born and bred from Cleveland, East Cleveland, Ohio. If I don't say East Cleveland, my mom will kill me, so I have to say East, and I'm proud of it, but people know Cleveland, Ohio. But he's from Cleveland. We get to the interview, and me just being, strategic as I am, I'm slaying this interview. I'm confident. I got my shirt on. I was sweating like crazy. This is when I did not bring a backup shirt, by the way. But I just, we learn. So I get there, we're chatting. I'm like, oh, and I see you're from Cleveland. Boom. Drop that bomb, put that nugget up in there. And now I'm working at all these Broadway shows. So the way the merchandising thing works is that you can work at several shows and they just place you and you get to pick up shifts when you're available. It's almost like catering in a sense. They'll send you like a list of all the dates for the next 2 weeks ahead, and if you're available for those next 2 weeks, you say, hey, I'm available for that time. And what's awesome is that a lot of the people that I work with in this job, they're either future writers, or they're writing their own stuff now, actually. They're directors, they're stage managers. My boss is the stage manager. They're actors, they're other dancers, and we're all just in the same boat. We just needed a job that can work with our audition schedule. And what really got me for this job was that my boss was like, yeah, the best thing about this job is that auditions are usually early in the morning. So if you work a matinee, it's not till 2:30. And then if you do an evening show, there's usually no auditions. I mean, if you're auditioning at 2, you'll still be able to make it to work to a 5:30 shift. And I'm like, this is perfect. And he was like, if you ever need to switch a schedule with somebody, you just handle it. Not a big deal. They let us know, and you guys handle it yourself. I'm like, flexibility is exactly where I'm at right now. Like, my whole vibe is just being agile. And you can't see me, but I'm moving like a cat because I'm flexible right now since I'm in New York City. But yeah, so he's told me with that. And also, I get to see some of the shows for free. Actually, I've seen almost all the shows that I work for free, which is nice. Sometimes it's a little bit hard, but I get to see about 90% of the show. And then my managers are super awesome. I also they don't see me, but I see the stars that's in the show. Or they'll come up to me in my booth and say, oh, this is the merchandise. I'm like, yes, welcome to the merchandising booth. Hi, my name is Justin Bass, aspiring actor, dancer, producer, director, monkey trainer. Can you hire me? And then there's silence. So yeah. But yeah, it's interesting. You get to see the stars. I get to see them in their prime. I get to watch some of the same shows over and over and over again, which is pretty cool because one show I'm working, which is called Getting the Band Back Together, is in previews. And you see like the small changes, but you see these people singing. Like, it's pretty amazing. And it's also easy because unlike retail where you work in a mall, I don't have to walk around and try to sell anything. People come to my booth and it's a one-person job, so I don't work with other people. I sell because it's so small, and people come to me. So I'm like, okay, they'll come to me. I have my prices, and then when the show goes on, I just sit down and watch Netflix because if I watch the show already, I won't watch it every single time. But I'll sit down, catch up on my TV shows, or my boss told me, he was like, look up auditions or bring your laptop, which is what I usually do, or I'll bring a book and things like that. So it's the easiest job. I mean, it's just, a lot of counting. And I'm like, oh, okay, I got this, until I got to working a bar shift and I didn't have it because it was like this whole thing with chips and wine and I'm not going to get into that because I have conquered it and I'm not working anymore. But nonetheless, it's a really good job. So if you're looking for a flexible job, it's something like catering. Look into working for like a Broadway merchandising establishment because there's like 5 of the top ones and I work for one of the best ones. And the money is good. And you also you get a flat rate, but you also get commission. And this merchandise is expensive. So if somebody was to buy a $65 hoodie, that's an extra $1 added to my check. I think I made over $100 in commission alone.
It's better have my money through rain, sleet, or snow.
It was a Shakespeare.
My hoe better have my money.
I'm telling you, that boy's a genius. Tell it.
Not half, not some, but all my cash. Because if she don't, I'm going to put my foot dead in her ass.
From my last check. And because people just want the merchandise from these shows. So it's pretty amazing. I love it. And the people I've met so far are so sweet. Everyone is working in the field. And I told myself I still want to be around art even if I haven't booked that gig yet. Like, I think that's the most important thing. Is like, I'm like, I did not want to just be working. I mean, if I had to, I would, but I'm like, I do not want to just be working at an H&M. That has nothing to do with the field. But if I get to interact or be around producers, like I met the producer of the show. He came into my booth. He was like, hey, can I get a shirt? I was like, of course. He was like, my name is Ken Davenport. And my response was, I know who you are. And he was like, what's your name? I'm like, Justin. He was like, okay. So, you know, you just shoot your shot. And who knows, I might end up in a room for his next audition. And he's going to remember my show because I worked that booth for his show for over a month, which I'm going back today to work in the next 2 days. But yeah, it's like one of those situations. I'm like, I'm just being present and having a smile on my face can go so far, because that audition might not have went the way that I wanted if I go for it. But who knows? Or if it does go amazing, him knowing or seeing my face can go a whole nother way. So yeah, it's a great job. I'm working getting the band back together. I'm also working The Band's Visit, which just won 10 Tony nominations. I have not seen that show yet, but my boss told me she will get me a seat this week. I'm excited to see it. What else show has I worked? Oh, I worked a show called Girls and Boys, which is a pretty popular one-woman show. And I'm working My Fair Lady as well, which is about a 4-hour show about a lady that is fair.
The rain in Spain stays mainly in the plain.
I think she's got it. I think she's got it.
The rain in Spain stays mainly in the plain.
By George, she's got it. By George, she's got it. Now once again, where does it rain?
On the plain, on the plain.
Yes. So, yeah, it's an amazing job. That's good. It pays well. So if you ever need a quick job, let me know. I can wheeze you in there. It's a pick-up shift type situation. And for an artist, for somebody who's auditioning a lot and they're just coming out of, sometimes either I went to an audition just the other day and it was a last-minute decision for me to go. I'm like, why don't I go? And then I just went. And I just was lucky enough that I don't have to be to work into the evening shift. So just being able to work a job like that is pretty awesome. So yeah, adjusting to the heat, adjusting to a new job. I did have a job at Capizio, but I got it and then it never started because me and the boss came to the conclusion that me wanting to be flexible wasn't flexible enough for her. So we just decided to let that one go. So we just lassoed the horse and then we just let him go free. But she was really sweet though. Yeah. So the hustle was real since I've been moving here about getting work because, you know, me and Marty, we moved here with, you know, just a set amount of money. When I say we moved here with a set amount of money, that's code for Marty moved here with the money that he saved, and I set myself on top of it, and now I call it we. So yeah, we, you know, came here with just a certain amount. And my whole idea was like, okay, I need to get a job because I just can't sit on my butt and play a video game for 10 hours with my brother and waste time. And I like to go out. I like to drink. I like to have a little kiki. I'm like, if I don't have my own money in my wallet, I got to go ask somebody for some coins. I got to have my own money. So yeah, when I got a job, did all that. Yeah, and that was great. So, other than adjusting with that, another big thing is when you go from dancing 9 to 4, every day, Monday through Friday, with a professional company, choreographers coming in, shout out Repertory Dance Theater, you forget that you didn't go to the gym. You never went to the gym when you were dancing 24/7 on a contract that's over 30 plus weeks with health insurance. The gym was in the back of your mind. You probably went once for fun. You went twice just to get an Instagram picture. You went the third time because somebody invited you. Well, people, let me tell you this. When you stop dancing full time, the hardest thing to do is to stay in shape. And all my friends that just graduated college as well knows that when you're not in academia and you're required to go to ballet and modern and contemporary and even a little bit of tap, you know, your body is going through a monumental change. Like, you're starting to eat all the time because you're bored. And your snacking has become full-on entrees. So when you do breakfast, you do a breakfast snack, which is another breakfast, basically. You do lunch, you do a lunch plus a before dinner lunch snack. And then you do a preparation to dinner where you're eating on all the stuff that you prepared to cook for dinner. So when you get to dinner, you can't eat then. So you wait a few, 30 minutes to eat. By this time, people, it's after 11 o'clock and you shouldn't be really eating anything. And your entire body is raptured inside of a cyclone, and you just gained 5 pounds in one day. I also live down the street of a Popeyes. So yeah, a challenge is staying in shape. So you know what I did? I said, how can a baller like me on a budget stay in shape for free? I said it, for free. Yeah, so I went and I Googled it. I'm like, what's free classes in, NYC? And there's a lot of free yoga. If you want to get your namaste, you can do it almost anywhere. You just have to show up early and with your own mat, which is great. And our roommate, Maddie, she's awesome. She actually teaches Pilates as well. And I went and took one of her free classes. And she can use her guest pass. But I actually just Googled free classes in NYC. And this amazing woman came up called Sassy Fit Girl. And she posts all the free classes. And she put a week up of every class, Monday all the way to Sunday. Monday all the way to Sunday, and classes free all throughout New York, and it's amazing. And a lot of them are intro classes, and one class I did was a boot camp at Chelsea Park, which was amazing. It took me 15 minutes to start because I went around the entire park, seeing several boot camps go on, and I went to every single boot camp and said, hello, are you the free boot camp on Eventbrite? And they all said no, until I text the number. And I said, excuse me, I don't see a class going on. There's the guy is in black pants and a tan shirt. This dude is dressed up like he's going to an interview on Wall Street. I'm like, what is he going to do for me? And his friends came, and he is somebody that works for Equinox, and he's venturing out to do his own thing. And we did the boot camp, and it was pretty awesome. I'm not a gym person. I can go in the gym, I can do some runs or something, but I like to be out in nature. Not obviously out in nature, but enough to where I'm active, something that gives me a task. So a boot camp thing seemed very interesting to me. But yeah, I took his session at the park, and it was free. He was I'm like, so how much are you looking to do for this? He was like, well, honestly, I want to continue to be free until I get a nice heavy group. I'm like, well, you gonna be seeing me in this group. If you want me to be a founder member of your free establishment and I get a discount, let's do this. I have not been back, only because I went out of town to the Hamptons. I will go about that story in a minute. But yeah, I just been trying to finagle ways and the best thing about being in New York is that there literally is ways to stay in shape and be free. And also there's ways for me to just manage my diet. This particular week in general, I have been trying to be more more active and just being conscious of what I'm eating and when I actually just need to be drinking more water. I don't need to be putting down another cup of ramen noodles right now. Because the sodium is real, y'all. That's what's going to get me, is all that salt. I love me some good ramen. I put a little egg up in there, and I just get it all yummy. And then next thing you know, I done went through 3.
Perhaps a salad?
Perhaps not. I'll have the steak smothered in onions, a rack of ribs, pasta with extra garlic, French fries with lots of vinegar, and a side of onion rings with lots and lots of sauerkraut.
But whatever. So yeah, it's the hardest. One of the challenges about moving and not dancing all day is staying in shape. And in this past week, I actually went and took 2 amazing classes. I took one modern class by Antonio Brown, which was actually at a dance studio in Brooklyn. And then that same day, I went and took a class by Tiffany of Elisa Monte Dance. She's the artistic director at Steps. And it was a 2-hour masterclass, and I was worn out, but it felt so good to move. And in one day, for those classes, total, I paid about, I want to say $37. So yeah, it's expensive, but I needed to. Sometimes I'm like, do I want to go out to a happy hour, or do I want to continue to dance and keep my body in progression? Taking a month, I think it took me about a good month to take a class. Like I took one Gaga class in between that, but like to take a technique class where I was like forced to be on my leg a lot of the time. It took me a month to really get into that, just because I was just trying to find balance. But sometimes you have to decide to do something even when you're not on your leg. You just have to take a chance. So I was like, you know what? I need to go to class. And lucky enough, I have my car, and for now. So the class in Brooklyn was pretty accessible for me. Like, it's better than getting in a hot-ass subway. So I got in my car, went to the class, and yeah, it was great. And then Steps, the studio is amazing. The space is like probably my favorite space I've been inside. It was my first time there. And there was this sweet, sweet woman when I came out of the master class, and she said, you were beautiful in class. I was like, thank you. She was like, where did you train? I said, oh, I went to SUNY Brockport. She was like, who is your ballet teacher? I'm like, oh, I've had a plethora of them over the years. She was like, oh, your lines are... I'm like, girl, you are feeding my soul. And my ego is so hungry right now. Thank you. Because, you know, auditioning all the time and going like... I've probably been on 7, 8, 9 right now. And not that I'm getting like discouraged from it, but this was a random person who just saw me walk out of class and was watching in. And she was, you know, looking, and she saw me, the Black Swan. And I was like, okay. I don't know. It's just like those moments are reminding me that I'm here at the right place. You know, like also the people that I'm meeting in these classes and the people I'm actually able to reconnect with that I met in the past has been awesome. And just to continue trekking forward. So yeah, it's definitely been a journey. I want to go back, and if you do need to take a break and do a pause on this podcast, this might be a good point. You know, do you need to brush your teeth? Do you need to go and, I don't know, blow dry your hair? You can't hear my voice because it's so angelic. This might be a good time, but I'm going to keep going. Let me go back and tell you about another good way to make money as an easy job that's super flexible. And you get to see like some high quality okay? I actually became a dog walker for Rover. And it's like WAG, so it's just like a dog walking service. And I did it in Salt Lake, but I didn't get any traction. I'm gonna tell you why. Because they know white people about to ask me to come in their house and take their dog out in Salt Lake City. But in New York, I've been doing it a lot. And I actually have become an on-demand dog walker. This is where people do not have to contact me to walk their dog. They post their dog up, and there's only so many on-demand dog walkers. We get to pick, and they leave us information on how to get into the place. We sometimes have to go with the doorman, and we go get their dog, and we take them out for them, and it's like it's great. It's like, it's awesome. And you decide, you make your own schedule, which is like very appealing to me at this point in my life right now. Like when you've been confined to like confined to a schedule, like a tight one, and that sometimes changes that you cannot control, it's nice. So yeah, I've walked a few dogs, and it's been awesome. At first I'm like, am I gonna be nervous to walk in people's homes, and these dogs, they're gonna jump on me and bite me? But it's so the opposite. Honestly, some of these dogs are just so thirsty excuse me, are just so thirsty just to go out because they've been in a house. And yeah, it's like for the on-demand, you walk for 30 minutes, you get $12, which is like cake. And sometimes I work longer than 30 minutes because I forget where I'm going back. But Rover is amazing. It tracks your destination. You track the pee, the poop, how much water, if you give him a treat. And let me tell you, I've seen some amazing fucking apartments and condos picking up people's dogs. I'm like, oh my gosh, one day. Because some of these places in Brooklyn near the water are stunning. But yeah, it's another super flexible job. To be on demand, you have to go and do a harness test because different dogs wear different collars. So I had to go and do a test. I did not pass the first one because I missed one harness. I go back the second time. I'm assuming that the harness that I missed is the one that I've been practicing because I didn't read the text message when they told me which one I missed. I just made another day. I go and I do all of the collars, and she was like, look, you only have to do the one that you missed. She was like, just do this one. I look down at that table, I look at that harness, and tell me why the harness that I thought that I missed was not the one I was practicing on the train all the way to the second interview. I'm like, it's okay. She ain't gotta know that. You pick this up, and you see that little triangle right there. That triangle going right over that toy dog's neck. I put it on there right. And she was like, yeah, that's it. She was like, last time you had it up under the leg. And that's the easy way for a dog to escape. I was like, yes, of course. Yes, this is the one that I knew that I missed. I left, I got on the elevator, and I'm shaking. I called Marty, I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I just thought, I just passed it, and it was just hilarious because I was preparing for the wrong one the whole time. And then, you know, it was meant to be. It was meant to be for me to have that job. So I died, though, when I got off. I was just shaking like, okay, this is crazy. But yeah, I've been dog walking. It's been awesome. Super cute. Really nice. It's an easy job. It's great. Do it if you like dogs. And also you can, if you do it, some people actually ask for their cats as well, which is 10 times easier. Like, they'll want you to come and stay in their apartment or just, you know, chill with their cat for a little bit and play. And it's really good money if you do like a stay over visit. Like, I'm honestly hoping somebody books me to stay over, like, and like, I don't know, the Upper East Side, so I can just be living that life just for a weekend. That's all I need. I want to do babysitting, but honestly, I just ain't got time to discipline nobody's kids. So, and I was like, I would be a really good gay nanny. That I would be legit. And I'm like, you know what? I just don't have. I mean, I could be like the help, and I could change those little kids' lives and bring them all the information they need about surviving the culture that they have put on me and my people. But you know what? Nah, I'm good. I'm just gonna walk these dogs. So yeah, that's been great. Now I'm going to segue into, I guess, the auditions. Now, this particular part of the podcast is going to be interesting. This is my experience. So by all means, you know, take everything I say with a handful of salt, because this is the truth and how it is. Okay? So when I came here to New York, and even before, all my friends asked me, people that were not my friends asked me, Justin, you're leaving, you're going to New York City, what do you want to do? I said, Samantha, you know what I want to do? I want to be on Broadway. I didn't say that. I said, I just want to do something. But no, I'm like, you know, I think I want to do Broadway. Like, I think I want to try and see what this audition scene is and just be in a different world. Like, I might want to venture back into company dance and see if that's a thing. But after doing it for 5 years and been around the same people that I do adore, I just think it's time to switch it up. Like, I'm ready to be fueled in a different way, you know? And I feel like I have the charisma, I have the nerve, and I have the talent, shout out RuPaul's Drag Race, to go all the way on a Broadway stage and knock out, you know, a lot of performances in a week. So when I first got here, I went to a lot of EPAs, which are equity auditions. And the first one I went to was for Book of Mormon. And I did that audition, and I knocked that bitch out the park. Because guess what? I got a fucking callback. Now, the callback was singing, people. Let me tell you this. Have you heard me sing? Seriously? Have you ever heard me on Instagram or YouTube? Hitting the note. You have not heard me do any of those things. Because you know what? I am an above average singer at best. So when I go to these calls, I'm going for the dance calls. I'm going for the dance call of the chorus in the background of the person that can hold the note for the principal, because I'm not trying to get up there and give you my Ben Platt of Dear Evan Hansen monologue. No, I'm trying to support him and hold his cast when he needs somebody to be there in the background. Okay, I'm the munchkin in the back in Wicked. That's just what I want to do, because I still get paid good. But no, I want to dance in the background, and then possibly work my way up to doing something bigger. But yeah, so I get to Book of Mormon. The dance one, so confident, I make it through. The callback for singing, I have my book ready because 2 days before, I met with a friend who went to his first Broadway audition. He did not come with his music ready. He did not come with his bars. And they read him for filth. His words were, he was like, I'm going to do a cappella. I don't have a song prepared. And they were like, okay. They let him sing. And at the end, they said, whenever you're ready to take this seriously, then come back prepared. Damn! Look, when he told me that, my whole body shooketh. And I'm like, there's no way that I'm about to get called out like that. You know, shout out to you for being bold, but if the call says come prepared with your jazz shoes, your sneakers, your heels, your 16 bars, you gotta have all that stuff prepared because it's just not a good look. And especially for me, my first moment, I'm like, I'm gonna have the book. So me and Marty, we get our headshots ready. We get the music ready. We get the music in the correct key ready. I'm showing up, I'm prepared. I practiced my little song. My first song was Lauryn Hill because they wanted something a little Don Trying and chill. It was for the Book of Mormon African Villagers. So I'm like, I'm about to like kill this shit. And then we get the choreography. There's no fucking African dancing in the African Villager fucking audition. It was basically jazz. I'm like, okay, I'm not cool. Did it. I get to the call and I start singing. And the pianist, he's so sweet, but he starts off too slow, and we're trying to like get on the same groove. And we get there, I make it all the way to the end of the song, which was a huge accomplishment for somebody who has not been performing in front of people singing wise. You know, I can have all the confidence in the world, but you sing in front of people, the producers of a show, and you have not been singing professionally. You tell me if you don't piss your panties, okay? So I get there and I'm trying to give them all my Lauryn Hill, my like I'm just giving them my little runs here and there. I took a jog in between the songs, so because I can't do too many runs. I make it to the end. I move my hand a little bit, just give them a little bit of Michelle because I'm not at my Beyonce status yet. I make it to the end, and they were like, thank you. I give them my book. Me and the musician, we smile. I'm like, you guys, this is my first Broadway audition. And I'm like, also they was like, oh, you did such a great job. I'm like, thank you so much. And I'm like, also my boyfriend, he's LDS. He's from Salt Lake. They were like, and we're laughing, and I leave. And if anything, I left that room in good spirits, you know, not defeated. Even though I knew that shit was hard. It was hard for me to, you know, put myself out there singing wise. And I did a lot of prep. Like I did a lot of practicing in the apartment, in front of Marty, going over the words at the audition. And yeah, it was interesting. I mean, when I got that call back, mind you, I go to EPA auditions being a non-equity, non-union person. So I have to arrive at each audition an hour before or an hour and a half just to make sure I will be seen. And I went to the Wicked audition, showed up, and there's always less men than women showing up for auditions because there's just not a lot of guy dancers. But because there were so many women that showed up that were non-union for Wicked, and you know, the people didn't want to see them. They were like, we can't see them. They were like, since we can't see the non-union women, we would not see the non-union men. I was like, damn, we all been waiting here 2-3 hours. And then they finally came to the conclusion, mind you, they could have checked the list hours before and said, just to let you know, we're looking like we're gonna be here for a while. They're not gonna stay there past their time to see anybody, especially if you're not equity. If you don't have a card, you're not paying no dues right now. I mean, you look on the paper where you sign your name for non-union, they're saying basically we're doing you a favor to see you. I'm like, oh, okay, but you stressed in the audition, in the call out, on Playbill, on Broadway World, you said we're looking for fresh new faces. I'm sorry, you're not gonna get fresh new faces from everyone in equity that you already seen at the last call. Those people got their cards. If you want to see fresh new faces, then you have to see non-union. That's just how it works. Yes, I'm not trying to say that the equity people, they have not worked their butts off. They deserve to be seen before me, of course, because they have been in the game, or some of them got that one show and they've been working hard. They've been performing 2 shows on Saturdays. They've been showing up and they've been understudying roles. They've been swinging people roles. They know everybody's part. Kudos to you. But you know what? If you're trying to make, you know, SAG and AFTRA more open, then you have to be open to seeing non-union people all the time. And 9 times out of 10, I have been seen. There's only once I have not been seen. But it's also too because I'm a black, you know, male. And there's not a lot of male dancers. There's not a lot of black dancers out here either. There's more than I've seen. But still, you know, it's difficult. And I get it. And I feel for the women who's really put their whole life out here to be in New York to audition for that chance, because a lot of them look alike because there's so many of them. I mean, they're really gonna have to either be an amazing dancer and singer, or be such an amazing dancer that they cannot say no to them. And yeah, I mean, every time I go to a list and I see the women's list, their list is always front and back. And knowing that some of them will not be seen is crazy. And I'm like, well, it sucks. It really does suck. Because right now it's audition season, so everybody is showing up. I see the women show up to my call just to get their name on the list, and my call is at 10 o'clock. Theirs is at 2 p.m. But they get down there, they sign that list, and they go to Starbucks and they wait. And you know what? But that's the hustle. Because ain't nobody, well, it is, but it's not a lot of us, a lot of people that jump straight into the gig. A lot of us are working behind selling t-shirts, like me, waiting to see to get an invitation to something, to some cast party, to anything, to say, hey, my agent is looking for this. Because on top of audition, I also been thinking like, okay, I'm looking for an agent or something to get me into these rooms, but nobody knows me. Why would an agent take a chance on me? I have yes, you know what I'm gonna say, I did amazing concert dance and I have a reel, yes I do, but I'm not auditioning for concert dance. And a lot of my friends, they got agents, because they got seen in the show, and you have to be available to that. So it's crazy being here for a month, so much information that I've learned, and also just a lot of things that I've seen. But the one thing I tell myself is that when I go into this new world, I'm going to be as prepared as I can be, because there's not going to be any reason that I don't get any of these opportunities is because I did not follow the bare minimum, which is to show up on time, to bring my book, to bring my headshot and resume stapled together, to bring my correct shoes, to wear the right clothing, and then just to show up. Because if all fails, it is a free class if the audition doesn't go the way I want. But yeah, I'm gonna show up. No shade to people who their first time wasn't their best, but you know what? I got too much to worry about. Learning a combination in about less than 30 minutes. It's 4 8 counts. Sometimes it's more. And it's very detailed sometimes. The last time I'm going to think about is, I don't have a song. Oh no, I'm going to have that song. Okay? I'm going to have that book. I'm going to have my shoes. I'll tell you how I left something at home at the last audition in a second. I'm just going to be prepared with what I know, because as I'm introducing myself to these people that are the producers, the writers, the choreographers of these shows, they're seeing me right now at the beginning stages. When they see me at the end, baby, they're gonna say, you know what, I auditioned that guy, and he has so much potential. And I'm like, you know what? Oh, you don't even know. The fire is catching, baby. Hunger Games. I'm hungry. I did not come out here to play. Like, I'm just so thirsty for it. And even now, like, I'm filling up my calendar with all the auditions that are about to happen. Like, I'm going to, and these auditions, which is great, because since I am like an above average singer, I do go to singer calls and I do have my songs ready. Slightly above. Okay, let's not beat no horns or nothing like that. I can do a little something. I can hold a note. I'm a strong supporter at the back. But yeah, I go to these auditions and it's always the dance first and then the sing later. Or sometimes they might not even need you to sing. They might just want you to be a dancer. But excuse me, a lot of the auditions that I'm coming up now are just dancing, which is like, okay, which is great. Because the last audition I went to was just literally 2 days ago. I went to a chorus line audition. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And this was the last minute one. I woke up, I'm like, I should just go just to see. Because, they're not asking for singing. They just want dancers. And I'm in love with chorus line. Look, disclaimer. I have the chorus line DVD. I actually have a song in my book, Nothing, that I prepared to do for another audition. I'm like, I can do it for this one if they ask me to sing. And I get there, and it's a lot of us. I get there early. I get there. I sign my name on the list. And I'm warming up 20 minutes before I check my bag for my book, because they start doing calls for union. I'm like, they about to do calls for non-union. I ain't got my book in my bag, y'all. The bathroom, I'm like, did somebody just mop? Like, did somebody take my bag? Mop is gay slang for stealing. I'm like, did somebody just take my thing? Because a friend of mine who went to a Broadway audition, somebody actually took his book and his headshot when he left the room, and nobody said anything. I'm like, this is real. I'm like, because I will get my shit back if somebody took it. I'm like, you know what? I don't have time for that. So I'm calling Marty frantically. Marty does not. Guess what? Wake up. After me calling him about 8 times. I'm like, I need my resume and stuff emailed to me so I can find a library, go to a FedEx. There's a million FedEx. So I get to a FedEx. The first one I get to, y'all, it's a shipping FedEx. They don't even print there. So mind you, I only have like 25 minutes, actually 20 minutes to do this. So I asked the guy inside the FedEx, I'm like, where is the printing one? He was like, oh, it's 4 blocks that way to make a left. I run to this FedEx. Lord behold, my credit card is not working. Mind you, my card, after I did the payment anyway, it didn't have the money anyway. It's okay. So I find my own stuff in my email after not getting a ring-a-ding-ling from Marty. I get all my stuff. I send it to the FedEx guy. He prints it off for me. I get my headshot and resume. I run all the way back to Ripley Studios. I go back up the elevator. I get there 3 minutes after the call. Bam, they haven't even called non-union yet. I'm like, thank you, God. Mind you, as they printed off my resume, it came off in the wrong format. It was okay. It had my information on it. There was nothing I can do at that point. And my picture was a lot of blotchy. Like, it was like semi-pixelated. I'm like, okay, this is all gonna have to work right now. Like, I cannot be picky. So like literally I ran from the audition place, through the place, to the 2 FedExes, run back, go back upstairs, get back in line, go to audition, bam. And then I'm like, I hope this is not for nothing. I mean, it's a good story to tell, but I'm sweating, I'm stressing out, and then they called non-union. I'm like, okay, it was off. This was not for nothing. This is a sign. This was a sign, okay? Or was it? I get in that audition room, and he starts doing the combination to the chorus line. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I can do this. This is jazz. I know this. This dude is blazing fast. And he has another dancer with him. But I put myself in the wrong position to see any of the movement. I put myself in the front, all the way stage right, basically. And I'm like, this is fine. I can see. I can look in the mirror. Nah, don't work like that. Because every audition, I have strategically put myself in a spot where I can see both of the dancers and be in the center, not in the front, not all the way in the back. So when they switch lines, I'm always in the middle, and I didn't do it this time. And it threw me off learning, so I'm assuming I can pick it up. And because they keep going, they'll ask if we have questions, but I'm like, I'll pick that in between step in a second. I never picked it up. Next thing you know, we do 1 big group. Then we do with music. Then we do 2 groups. And we're going. I'm still missing this little part, and I'm like trying to figure it out, and like I'm doing it on the side, and it's not coming together. Because once they start saying let's dance, the learning process is basically gone. Your brain has already switched to another mode as performance. So when you're learning, you have to learn a combination in that time. It's like almost, it's important that you pick it up, and when they say to you any other questions, you say, actually, yes, can you go over this? Because they will do it for you. I've done it before, actually, but this was the first time that I feel like my mind was like leaving the whole situation. Because once I missed one part and I try to put it back in, it put me behind to keep up with everybody. So bam, we get there, then they say 2 at a time. Mind you, I'm like, okay, that's fine. They changed the facing on us. I'm like, okay, it's all right. It's the same thing. We're still the right side, not a big deal. We do 2 at a time. It's fine. You know, I fudge my way through that. Then they say, 1 at a time. I say, excuse me? They say, now we're going to see you 1 at a time. I'm like, huh. Okay. So in my brain, I'm like, so now you know you don't know that part, and you probably don't know the other part either. And when you think about that part you don't know, it's going to be a domino effect of you not knowing not a goddamn thing. So what you going to do, Justin? Either you going to look defeated, or you going to step up to the center, and you're going to have a smile on your face, and you're going to give them all the 5, 6, 7, 8 that you know, and make it to the end. And you guys, I did B. I was like, maybe it all just click. And guess what? It doesn't. No, not at all. I do that 5, 6, 7, 8. I do that first jazz hand. I do that first pickup jump down to the floor, and then boom, 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 boom. It all just crumbles. And I'm just still like, you know, inside my inner me is just crying and just like, why? Like I ran and da-da-da. And I get to the end and I smile and I walk back to the side. And as all of my past situations start to just flood my brain. You know, just all the bad ones, you know, because you just completely flopped in front of like everybody. And you're like, another humbling experience. Oh, I'll write this in the journal tonight. And then you see this one kid, he came in with these velvet jazz pants, and he was a little short guy. He slayed that combination. I was like, he's ready for this. He's ready. I'm like, I was not ready for this. Not for this particular audition. And this was the first audition that I've gotten caught up on choreography, actually. The other ones I've actually been slaying. But this one was so fast and so jazz. Like, and I am a jazz dancer. I do consider myself like about 30% jazz. But I just wasn't there. I think the culmination of running around and being stressed out about getting there and not having my stuff, not having my book, and if they ask me to sing, I don't have my music, and it was a big deal. And then I'm like, you know what? I had on tennis shoes, which did not help me for a jazz combination, by the way. I mean, you can wear sneakers, and my shoes are actually pretty good, but I need to get some jazz shoes, like straight up. And I got stuck in the turn. I'm like, I'm a turner. Like, so yeah, it was crazy, but it was humbling. And, you know, that's just what it is. I hit the shit. Like, I was like, you know, as much as I love Coruscant, this would be a dream. I'm like, I was not ready for that moment was not meant for me. It was humbling. It was hard to swallow a little bit because I did so much just to be there. But I was like, you know what? That's just another lesson. And it seems easier now to say that, but in the moment I was like, fuck. Damn, I just did all this. But you know what? It's not for nothing. I still got seen. No, it was not at my best. But you know what? This happens. There's not one person on this earth that's known every single audition. And if they have, they got a fucking golden nugget up their ass. Okay? Or they got a fucking leprechaun up there just sprinkling good luck and rainbows somewhere. Because this all adds to my journey, my story. Now, did I want this to happen? No. Would I have loved to slay the audition? Yes. But sometimes it just does not happen like that. And I just made a joke about it on my Instagram. And I just kind of just have to laugh it off. And just like, okay, time to be more focused on the next one. And just double, triple check my bag, which I thought I did, but I didn't. It's humbling though, like to be like, you know what? Okay, yeah, because I was so used to being caught up with the singing portion that I didn't think I was gonna get caught up with the dancing portion as long as I've been dancing. But you know what? I did, and it happens. I am not immune to messing up on choreography. So yeah, that happened at that audition. And that was 2 days ago. But who was expecting one at a time? Not me. I was like, oh, shit. I was like, one at a time? I'm like, you gots to be shitting me. But I guess that's what made it even funnier because I was not expecting it so much that I knew the flop was going to be like monumental. So I'm like, I'm going to serve them a good flop. Like, they're going to see these mistakes, but I'm going to just, yeah. And when I walk off, then they'll see the tears of no glory because I did not rise to the occasion of actually knowing the details of the choreography. But it happens. And then the next round anyway was ballet, and I did not have my ballet shoes, which I did not even know ballet was next because this was the last minute audition. It just was not meant to be. It was not meant to be. So yeah, auditioning can be crazy. But I listened to another podcast, and I actually listened to Broadway Black, which actually I am obsessed with now. And it was this woman, I forgot her name, but she talked about how EPAs work. She's like, you have to keep showing up. And she talked about how she kept going to this same audition call each time. And she kept making it to the end. And she finally asked him, she's like, is this something I need to work on? Like, thank you so much for seeing me. And literally, she never fit what they were looking for. She was like, why couldn't y'all just tell me that so I wouldn't have to keep showing up? So, but you know what? She was like, she was continued to be seen. And it works. Like, some people will remember your face, especially if you put on a positive face, if you put on a focused face, if you go in there and you give them everything that you have at that moment, because one of those moments can change your life. So me showing up an hour and a half, like I have to take an hour train, then I have to put in an hour before the wait, then I might not be seen. It's all worth it because all I need is one person to see me. To see something in me, to be like, you know what, I'm gonna give him his first equity contract. This will be his moment, and that's all I need. there's some things that I'm not amazing at, but one thing that I do believe in is that I have one thing that nobody else has, and somebody is going to notice that, and they're going to say, I need that in this. I see so much charisma on stage from people, and I'm like, they are there, and they're not singing. And I'm not a singer. They're there because they have a presence that cannot be denied, and we all have that. Every single person on this earth has that. So once you know that, and you don't even have to know what it is, you just know that you have that special nugget, you're going to walk in every situation just like, you know what? Check. The first step is knowing that I have something. The next is learning the 8 counts. Okay, the last is walking out with your head held high no matter what happens, with a smile on your face, and you move on to the next. So yeah, that audition was crazy. A few of the ones I have coming up, I've kind of been avoiding like tours and stuff because I just like moved here, but I'm doing the Trolls Experience, which is based off Trolls the movie, and it's basically like an immersive experience for kids. And I'm going to audition to be an ambassador to the Trolls. And basically you just read off these, it's an acting thing, but you set up a way for the children and you tell them about the Trolls. And one thing I am good at, y'all, is improv. And you hear this voice, right? This chocolate goodness coming through, your headset. You hear this? Imagine me guiding you through an experience of the Trolls. So yeah, I'm going to that audition for sure, and that might lead to something else. And another audition is I'm doing Lion King, which I worked with the original choreographer for a year, Garth Fagan of Lion King on Broadway. Garth Fagan, I was in his company for a year. He was the reason I performed my first time at the Joyce at the tender age of 20. I was a young lad, but I was, with the big kids. And yeah, so I'm going to that audition because I'm assuming the movement will be similar for sure. That's for a national tour and for like feature replacement for the Broadway cast. And the way those audition works is that they can call you anytime. They can call you tomorrow, they can call you next week, they can call you next month. So who knows, Book of Mormon might come through. Even though my singing was like okay, they might say, hey, he looks like enough. So they have my headshot, they have my resume, I made it to the callback. So yeah, I could be a maybe. That maybe is closer than being a no. So I'm going to the Lion King. I'm going to Frozen audition, which, let me just look through my calendar. I'm going to, what else is happening? Frozen, Lion King, the Met Opera auditions, which is another thing that I've been looking at a lot before I moved here, just because a lot of those shows, they're looking for contemporary dancers or ballet dancers, and my contemporary is very strong, I feel. And, it's another way to get a card. It's another way to get a contract, actually, which is what I'm trying to get towards. I'm like, people are telling me I shouldn't do union, but whatever. I'll do what I want. Yeah, what else I'm doing? Nothing on Labor Day. Just a plethora of auditions are coming up. So yeah, I just tell myself I have to keep showing up. As long as I got a Metro Pass, I can go. So yeah, the journey is real. The struggle will always be real. So there's no reason to continue to bring that up because the struggle is never going anywhere. Even for somebody that's making $1 million, okay, a year, it ain't going nowhere. Because the hustle, if you want it, if you want what you have, if you want it to sustain, if you want it to stay alive, you're gonna have to continue to work at that level that got you there. So there's no rest time even for the people that get to the top. So, and it's actually harder to stay at I guess it's easier to stay at the bottom. I don't know. People at the bottom, is it easy to stay there? Actually, I don't even know those people, okay? Because the people you surround yourself with makes a difference on where you're going. So it's been a journey. I've met a lot of nice people. Like I met a friend where he goes to auditions and he signs me up for lists if I'm on the way, and we do vice versa. We hit each other up about who's going to what audition, and it works. Like I thought getting here that I would jump into a combination of some of like my past performer friends that I know of, but honestly, if I ran into them, I do. But I'm not here for that. I'm not trying to make a sitcom like, where my friends at, da 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 da. No, I'm not here for that. I am here to book the gig and slay it into reality and to be bam. And I feel it. I know something is gonna happen. And one of my friends, we went to the Hamptons last weekend. Now look, I ain't rich, okay? A lot of my family members think I'm rich because I was able to move here. That is not the case. You can check my bank statements, okay? I planned a Hampton trip with my friends from college like 3-4 months ago, I think. I got invited, and we just went past weekend, and it was amazing. We stayed at this beautiful house, had a hot tub, had a pool, and it was a weekend getaway. And honestly, after living here for a month, it was exactly what I needed, and it was pretty awesome. We went out in the Hamptons. We went to the beach. We did all these amazing things. And my friend Jen, who I gave a shout out to, she said to me, she was like, Justin, she was like, we all know that you're gonna do something great. I was like, what? She was like, we talk about it all the time. And I was like, I am around the right people. Not because they telling me that I'm gonna be great, because they support me in what I do. And because they see my passion in it. And they're not telling me, they're not pumping my ego up every day. They're not sending me text messages saying, you got this, you're amazing, you're stunning, you're beautiful, you're gorgeous, do you style in those tights? They're not doing that. They're acknowledging where I have the potential to be, as long as I continue to work with the passion that they saw in me years ago when I was in school. So it's imperative that you put people in your life that will just beam you up with energy like that. Even when you sometimes are like, you guys, I went to this audition, it was like that, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? I've walked out of auditions, even the last one I did, Chorus Line, I've seen people with equity cards walk out, look defeated. Because you can have a card, but that don't mean you're going to get the job. They were like, did I do good? I'm like, well, if you got to ask, no. You know, I'm like, so I'm lucky enough to be around friends that people I stay connected with from college that are amazing, that have, amidst me with courage to be like, you know what, you made the right choice. And also for me to take a step back and just to shut up and listen to their achievements is a big thing too. Because sometimes I can get such in a moment of talking about myself, I tell myself, okay, now listen to your friends, Justin. Your friends are doing a lot of big things. And I sit back and I'm like, damn, they are. Got one friend who's getting their master's. I got one friend who's like ahead at Equinox. I got another friend that's helping with arts and education like crazy. I'm like, these are the people that 5-10 years from now, we're going to be building our own thing. We're going to be in, we're already hiring each other. They're already asking me to do jobs and to do things like that. I'm like, yes, more yes. Yes is all around. Me need moolah. But also they're completely acceptable to the fact that I need something flexible. So we're close enough friends where we can be honest with each other. And I have those friends back in Salt Lake as well. And it's great to come here. And a big shout out to Jen, to Chelsea, to Lauren, and to Morgan, because honestly, when you're not around your friends or people you went to school with for so long, you don't know if these relationships have any of the value that you thought they did, because you're not around each other a lot, And coming back, when I tell you, they just opened their arms to me. They invited me on this trip. We got to know each other in so many different ways. We got to go out and have a good time and laugh at each other and laugh with each other. I'm like, this was meant to be. And I'm a lucky guy to be around all these strong women that, you know what, I've always been held up by strong women. It's never been by a man. It's by being a woman that's going through this world with far more challenges. Mind you, go back 30 minutes when I said the women that are auditioning in New York City, they are the strongest people. Any woman here working is a strong person, honestly. Any woman working in the world is difficult. And I will never be a person to say, oh, I know how that is, because I will never know that struggle. Now, I know the black, the gay, the male struggle been all that, but I can't even imagine being a woman, especially a dancer that wants that dream. So please keep fighting. Please keep going. You are good enough. Don't worry about that EPA that you weren't even able to be seen. The hustle is real, because all you need is one no from 100 auditions. Honestly, I've been tallying up all my auditions because I can't wait to say I did 99 and the bitch just got one. No. It's gonna be rewarding, and it's gonna be a story I can tell to my future students that I'm going to be mentoring into the field. These are the best moments of my life. All these no's, shit, it's a bouquet of them, and I can't wait to pass them out to other people. No, once I get to where I gotta go, But you cannot come to the city expecting for your people that's in the industry that you know of to hand you an agent, to hand you a job, and to hand you everything. Because when they got here, they didn't have all that. All they had was the money in their pocket, and they were lucky enough they came here with a friend. So I never came here expecting that, oh, I knew him from Cleveland, I knew this person from Intensive, they gonna hook me up. No. They put in all of the work for them. They did not put in the work for two, especially for somebody they barely know. So you have to put in your time. It is your responsibility to pull your own self up through something. Now, if y'all in the same place, y'all on the same stage, then y'all gonna have each other's back. But do not expect a friend to take responsibility to help you get to where they at, because they had to help themselves to get to where they at. So it's really it took me a while to be like, damn. I'm like, why ain't nobody hit me up that's performing to get me like dancing something? No. That's not how it works. It works because you work. That's how work is. You show up, you show out, then you will get in the show. Okay? That is like the logic to it. And everything else in between is whatever. It's life. That's just what it is. So if it don't work out, you treat yourself to Popeyes down the street. You get you a $5 box and you get your ass in the house, you Netflix binge, and you get ready to show up to your job that's gonna actually pay your bills until you get that, until you break it off into something you get. So yeah, it has been a journey. This is probably one of the longer podcasts I have done in a while, because I have so much to tell, but it's been so much. But I have to tell you, this move has been completely worth it. I'm in such a great place. I've actually been able to talk to a few people back in RDT and cry. Like, shout out to Jackie as well. Like, to talk to them and see where they at and to reconnect with my friends. And shout out to everybody that still stay in contact with me. I'm going to start sending texts back to keep our relationship strong, because it takes energy and effort to make a relationship work. Friendships do not work just on your own. You have to actually reach out to people and check on them. That's how it goes. Okay. So yeah, I'm doing great. I'm mentally getting ready to get ready for another audition. That happens next week, and that's the life. And I'm happy that I'm here to be doing it. And please continue to share, subscribe. Listen on Podbean, or if you're not listening on Podbean and listen on iTunes, continue to listen on iTunes. And thank you for listening to Through the Fryer. Have a good day, guys.